When I was growing up here in Seattle, where I live was part of the major part of the African American community in the 1960s, 1950s, 1940s. I'd say starting right after or right about the end of World War II is when much of the black congregation came here. There was a black population that had been in this central area, especially along Yesler in this part of town. Chinese, the Japanese, other Asian communities around this part of town. The strength was in learning to live with each other in times that were difficult.
Yeah, it changed, especially, see, Central Street is a little bit wider, and my customers, or like I say, almost 100% used to be black. And by now, there is a days I don't see black at that neighborhood.
Surprised, I know that would be.
I remember those times when there were these, well-meaning, good, young white folks mostly coming into the communities and renaming things and changing things, and the folks in the communities who'd lived there before saying, "Oh, you're calling it what now? Oh, it's this. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. It's funny. I lived here all my life, and I didn't know that this kind of conversation was going on because they were excluded from the conversation." But the changes that affected those communities were, what the black families had to do to scrabble together the money for the property that they purchased in the 20s, 30s, and 40s of the last century. Now, if there are family members still living in those communities, it's so hard for them to hold on to that property.
What we do then is to try to make sure that the people can maintain their tenancies. Because once somebody becomes homeless, it's really hard to become unhomeless. So that whatever we can do to prevent that. People look at the homeless as an invading force. They'll say that. They're invading our town. I'm like, you're not even from here, so what do you mean? Why are you so possessive about it now?
We don't keep building to match people moving into this area.
Mm-hmm.
And to make up for the people who are living here, who have lived in this neighborhood for 50, 60 years and are being priced out of it.
Poverty is clearly one of the biggest issues. The people that we see being evicted almost uniformly are either the lower working class or those on fixed incomes, disability, Social Security. Of our clients, we probably have more than 50% that have mental health issues.
And the sad thing about living in this city, in the city of Seattle, in this part of the 21st century, is that the way that decisions are decided sometimes deal with economics, but they don't deal with humanity.
I mean, on your way out, stop at Walgreens and pick up a copy of the Seattle Times. It's on the front page today. It's an article about a couple who have lived in a building for, since 1990. And the building's been bought and by out-of-state investors, and the rents are just going way up. And these people are being priced out. They've been great tenants.
Yeah,
But they're not going to be able to stay in the neighborhood for sure, and probably not in the city.
Yeah.
So.
And it's a lot of people who have done nothing wrong.
Nothing. I mean, they've been great tenants, but this where they live is considered an asset for somebody else to make money off of.
There were ads in the paper, it'd say Arturo Apartments, Amazon employees, no security deposit, no first or last months, and I'm thinking, so how come a guy that I'm working with here at the shelter on SSI getting $730 a month has to come up with like $2,000 to move in, and somebody that's pulling $250 a year gets to skate on that?
And in any capitalist society, it's always about the dollar, the big money dollar. it's always ironic to think that Seattle's named after a native leader, and the way that natives were treated here in such a very fast fashion. You know, I was always thinking, like, what must they have thought when they saw the tall ships come down the Sound, and did they realize that their lives were going to change drastically?
Some of the environment, not only people came and buy house and moved out, but some of the rules changed. The environment changed. So for some people, it was not welcoming anymore. They say, I am not welcome anymore in this neighborhood. I'm afraid I will get a ticket. People are not like me. So that's how people moved out. So there was so many components. It's not one thing, it's not the parking, it's not the alcohol ordinance.
You know, what my folks used to call white folks with money can change community in a drastic way that makes them very comfortable, but the community around them they know nothing about or care nothing about. I don't necessarily want to live in that type of community any longer.
The other side of that is, what is the answer? Right? I'm thinking, you know, these boxes that they put up, right? You could build tiny villages. You could house everybody in town right now. So there's just no will to do it. We have the two richest people on the planet sitting here. They could easily, just by themselves, solve this.
At $694 a second, he makes the average American salary in about an hour. The average American would have to work around 1,300 years to make a day of Bezos's pay.
It just becomes normal. You don't even think about it when you're walking down the street or in the bus. Oh, there's a guy puking in the bus, you know. So that sort of complacency, or hey, let somebody else deal with it. And this sort of alienation, like people say, those people. I'm like, no, our people, man, you know. Or they're not statistics, you know, they're not chimps, they're not numbers. These are people.
The store, there were a lot of kids who used to hang out at the store. I had my own rule. I say, you can't hang out. They say, most of the kids, they say, I born grew up here, what are you telling me to do? To be honest, initially I didn't understood it. But slowly I say, he's right, or she's right, I just came. So I have to spend time, energy to understand. Instead of telling them, just move, I am changing the rules because I own that. I have to be a good, be fair to understand, is it really a good idea? Yes, I came here, yes, I invest my money here, but what about him? He lived, grew up all his life, and I'm telling him, don't hang out here, move on, because I'm going to lose money. So those are the things most people who come unconsciously do, small here, there, and when you see it now, they change their unbelievable.
So I think that what legacy that I look forward to is seeing how your communities change and your perceptions change about each other, about the folks that you don't know, and what are you going to do? Are you going to reach out to those who are different than you? Will the Central District still be a place that is welcoming to so many different people?
I was born in the Central District, raised in the South End. I'm a homegrown kid, yep, 206 living. Used to play flyers up when I lived up on Union. Pushed it out to Orcus and eventually the Kenyans. Didn't have much, but thankful for all we was given. It was all hood until Weed and Seed crept in. And the blocks went naked and gentrification came. Garfield, Franklin, robberies ain't even the same. Mark my words, it's gonna be white boys all on the team.